Hey there, gang. Welcome to another episode of my Clown Community Lab, where I test the builds that you suggest and vote on in the comments. Participating is very simple. All you have to do is, in your comment to this video, list 4 perks that you would like me to run. If the community votes on your comment the most with likes and you get the most likes, then I will go into the replies of your comment, and whichever reply to your comment that lists 2 add-ons also gets the most likes, I will run those add-ons in addition to your 4 perks. What we have this week is a very unique stealth build. I believe it was called Metal Gear Solid Clown. Very interesting name. And as y'all can see, literally every perk here is about removing the terror radius in some fashion from the survivors. Either we make ourselves undetectable so they don't even see us with our reading, or we just make it to where they just simply don't hear the terror radius even if it's there, right? That's what Obliviousness does. So going over the perks, we have Hex Plaything, which this means every time we hook a survivor, it's going to activate a dull totem and turn it into a hex. This is going to make them oblivious indefinitely until that hex totem gets cleansed. Further, for the first 90 seconds, only the person whose totem it is assigned to is able to cleanse that totem, which means you don't have to worry about someone getting unhooked and then as that happened, the totem immediately gets cleansed in the background. You've got this little buffer window, which is nice. Next, we've got Furtive Chase. This is all about finding and hooking the obsession, and whenever we do that, we make ourselves undetectable for 18 seconds, in addition to gaining a newly buffed 10% haste. This is the equivalent to Clown's yellow bottle without any of the add-on buffs, so having this for 18 seconds, which is basically 3 bottles, that's really, really good. So this is very nice. The only downside, of course, being that you do have to hook the obsession in order to gain that value, but at the same time, we are bringing a perk to help with that, namely Nemesis. What Nemesis does is whenever we happen to get blinded by a flashlight or if we eat a pallet stun, things of that nature, then the survivor who did that action, they become the new obsession. So if we have difficulty finding the obsession on the map, but we come across a non-obsession survivor, we have a slight bit of agency and or means of encouraging them to transfer the obsession to them, and thus we can commit to that chase on account of our poor mobility, hook them, and it's essentially getting us that obsession value that we otherwise would not have been able to gain without it. So that's really, really good synergy there between these 2 perks. Lastly, we have Unforeseen. This is almost like Dark Devotion in a way, except instead of transferring your terror radius to survivors, what we're doing is transferring your terror radius to the generator. You become undetectable, which again, different from Obliviousness. Obliviousness hides your terror radius. Being undetectable means that you're not showing up to any form of aura reading, and that's important. Things like kindred, things like any object of obsession, blood amber keys, right? There are so many different ways where that distinction can help you out, especially in Chase. So all of these perks together, just being able to make it to where survivors can't hear you, means that in order for them to beat you, they have to see you, unless they have voice communications. But even then, gang, voice comms are going to be limited on maps where there just isn't line of sight, and there are a lot of ways to take you could say unconventional pathing, right? You could say, yeah, the killer's going right to you because you see him go down a hallway, but if he takes a right and then goes to a different person, right? That comm suddenly becomes a miscommunication. It results in someone else basically now throwing, right? So that is at least one way where voice comms isn't entirely going to cripple this build and play style, but just keep in mind on the more open maps, right? It won't really be as effective, especially when these are going to be your add-ons. Now, I know y'all probably thought you were being funny, especially liking this comment, and I genuinely hope you found amusement in the fact that I'm going to be running these 2, because running these add-ons when your builds are all based on stealth, well, it doesn't really do you any favors when you kind of need something as Clown to ensure you get those downs so you can get the value out of these perks, if that makes any sense. These 2 add-ons that y'all have chosen are both the VHS Tape and the Sulfuric Acid Vial. For those that don't know what these add-ons do, they're not very useful. They're very unconventional add-ons on Clown, especially since Mangled got nerfed. Mangled used to be indefinite, and this add-on was actually pretty decent at that time, especially since slugging was a thing. You could run the old knockout and you would slug survivors so they wouldn't see their teammates' auras. And being able to do that with an indefinite mangled that didn't require a perk slot, that actually made this add-on pretty good, especially since you could apply it from a distance if the survivor was already injured. You just simply have to intoxicate them while they're injured to apply the mangled. That was the only condition. But now that it's only 70 seconds, right, and you think about that opportunity cost, that's kind of why I don't really run this add-on anymore. It doesn't even fit into conventional builds all that much either, especially given that it's only got a 70-second duration. So that's also very limited. And yeah, this doesn't really, I think, help us out too much with this build. Maybe a little bit if we start snowballing extremely aggressively, because it might encourage them not to heal and thus we catch them out while they're still injured, right? I think I had a match or two where I caught a injured survivor cleansing right after they cleansed their plaything. And because they were probably chose to stay injured because of sulfuric acid vial, I mean, sure, that gave me a really quick chase, right? But at the same time, that's all you're really going to see from this. And in many instances, you're just going to have survivors wait out that mangled. They're going to probably hop on a generator instead, right? If they don't cleanse the totem freely. And after that mangled expires, they'll heal themselves. And this is basically kind of worthless, right? On killers, I think that have more macro potential, something like mangled for that encouragement not to heal so that you can punish them is more effective. But yeah, clown, you really are only going to see that type of return if you're on a small map like Haddonfield, and possibly or if you're snowballing really, really hard. So not really a great add-on for us. Honestly, and like one of the problems with in general even running this add-on, especially if we're about to talk about with VHS tape, is we just don't have anything for potency. And yeah, because this next add-on, all this does is it just swaps the colors. That's it. It's going to swap the colors at the start of the trial. So we're going into a match where once survivors see that the intoxication is yellow and the invigoration is pink, they just kind of adapt in that way. Like we basically only have this going for us. So we don't have anything to help us in chase. And that means that clown's fundamentals are really important. That's kind of why I'm putting emphasis on those add-ons and what we don't have, especially as much as what we do kind of have with regard to it also not being much, because if we don't have good fundamentals as clown with this going for us and we don't catch survivors out, then we're not really going to convert anything, right? Because if we're not beating survivors at pallet loops because we don't have extra invigoration duration, we don't have extra hindrance percentage, then we're not getting hooks for Plaything, we're not pulling survivors off of generators, we're not really even giving them incentive to heal, because if they don't have to worry about us downing them, then what's the point of healing, right? That time that we even spent getting the injury is not only wasted, but they capitalize on that by just hopping on generators. So they completely ignore the mangled, right? So those are just all things to kind of take into account. But when you do have good fundamentals and survivors aren't in voice comms, I do think the build is really great. When a clown is both very skilled in chase and also doesn't have a terror radius, it makes it very hard for survivors to adapt on what it is that they should be doing, since they don't know where the clown is at. If you don't see the clown, if you don't have one of your teammates, right, using voice communications to tell you where the clown is at, then you pretty much have to do your damnedest as a single individual player, positioning and playing in a way where you can't get noticed, which is a very passive and non-objective form of gameplay, right? You're not going to be getting generators done when you're hiding in bushes, but you basically have to do that if you don't want to have clown randomly come up behind you, right, and just take you out. And that's typically what the situations you kind of put yourself in when you expose yourself to the clown when he is focusing on where he expects you to be, right? Clown expects survivors to be doing generators, not hiding in bushes. So when you do the one thing you start to do and you open yourself to getting ambushed by a clown with no terror radius, that's kind of the problem there. And that's something that survivors can't really avoid when you literally have 4 perks that are either removing your terror radius or transferring it and or just making it to where they can't hear it. it's one of those problems that can't be avoided and has to be faced, and so a lot of survivors just aren't ready for that. So got some really great gameplay for a couple of matches for y'all to see, and I think I'll let y'all decide for yourself what you think about the build and whether or not you'd like to try it. Haddonfield. Well, if there is any map that's probably going to be good for me running a build like this, well, not really when it comes to stealth, but I mean, more so thinking about VHS. Oh, man. Oh, and that's a pink bottle. See, y'all even cursed me with the start of this. Alright, so let's see. Who is this? This is actually, I think, the Leon, right? Or is this actually? My luck with finding the obsession is just criminal. Okay, this is actually such a good fucking start. I'm so not used. Y'all are making this so fucking hard for me. Oh, this is... Probably not a good idea first game on to be using this one. Holy shit. Alright, we got him now at least. Okay, so this is a good down. On a map like this, the haste from Furtive Chase is probably going to be the most valuable. Using VHS port in the morning is probably one of the worst decisions I have ever... Oh my gosh. Okay, so we do get the haste here. What I might be looking to do is I'm going to be looking to get a pallet stun on a non-obsession that I find. Y'all are just... Oh my gosh. This add-on! Why are y'all making my matches harder with this shit? Oh my gosh. Okay, so we do have the pink equipped now. A little bit of lag here and there is always lovely. You may not even need that then, huh? Oh my gosh, she's just better than me, huh? If I can get the... I genuinely couldn't fucking tell if she was in the bush. That's how bad scratch marks are, holy shit. Bloodlust though. Not exactly the way I would have necessarily liked to, I would have probably liked to transfer to her. But instead, it is what it is. I see someone literally right there, by the way. Okay, I was about to say, I don't think they actually assume I'm that stupid. I really want this stun. I want a stun of some fashion. I will literally work what I can to get this stun. Like, I actually think I get the hit regardless of that. Why would you just ignore the pallet? Does he not know that the pallet is right? Oh, man. Okay. I haven't had a chance to even kick a gen yet, but that's fine. Plaything's really kind of coming in. One of the nice things, at least about Plaything, is even if I'm not hooking these obsessions, right? For the Furtive Chase, is I am still making everybody undetectable. There we go. Okay, so this is actually, this is the bottle I want to use. Man, y'all really... This add-on has potential for what it's worth. VHS, they really need to look into reworking it. I'm gonna kick this now for Unforeseen. There are, what, 1 or 2 people here? Purposefully do it. That is the greediest balanced landing play I have ever seen. She had balanced landing, right? Like, what are you thinking? Alright, with all respect. Let's see. I'm gonna move this way. Who's our obsession? Adam? I'm not gonna lie, this build does have a fantastic number of ways of removing your terror radius. Like, no joke. In order for me to know what bottles I'm using, y'all, I'm actually, no joke, I'm using, what's it called? I'm using the icons. I know what the bottle icons are. It's like, if I can't trust the colors. I almost want this stun if he's gonna make it. Perfect, this makes an obsession. We hardly lose anything when it comes to distance. Notice that we still catch him here, but now he's the obsession. Did he just try to fucking dead arm me? I'm gonna reload first. Always reload before you pick up with Furtive Chase. This build is very interesting. Okay, so we have Furtive. I expect them to be up here. They probably think I left, right? No, they didn't. One of the nice things here, we can actually chain our undetectable, believe it or not. Yeah, so like we're about to lose Furtive here, right? I come up, I kick this gen, then we apply Unforeseen. Also take into account, well, the gen has no progress, right? But theoretically, right? And then like you've also got the other survivors that have the, you know, the totem, right? This is really crazy how much you can just like literally make yourself, like survivors just don't know where you're at. If they don't see you, they don't know where you're at. If they don't have comms, like they're pretty much, and this is Haddonfield. Keep that in mind too. We are on Haddonfield right now, which is a fantastic map for Clown and Chase. So not knowing where Clown is, running into Clown, right? That's like terrible, especially if you're just giving him more hook states, you're giving him all that furtive, you know what I mean? You're applying Furtive Chase for the haste so he can catch his teammates faster, all that stuff. Probably another reason why the generators haven't popped so easily. To literally double check to see which ones are which. Oh, what a beautiful fucking bottle. Holy shit. Get the refresh. Does he camp the fucking check? Oh my gosh, this guy's like actually a demon. Like, this guy's actually fucking kind of good. Oh no, my boomer thumbs. No, not my boomer thumbs. Why? Ooh, I really like this guy, but is he ready for this one? He's gonna have to pre-drop. Oh, hold on, one more time. Come around. I got caught on the fucking truck. It's fine though, we get him here. He's gonna go around. Oh man, I'm just better than you, my guy. You played really well though. Always gotta fake that red stain. I read his key. He is really good though. I'm gonna keep it a buck on a 120. Alright, let's see. We'll go up here. Lost 2 gens, but it's fine. We've got so many damn hooks. I'm about to... Oh shit, do you think they saw me coming in? Do you think they heard the bottle? What to say? I had a feeling someone was up there. Oh shit. Sorry for the FPS spikes that are here and there. Oh, what's going on? Now, we got rid of that one pallet. Can I make anything happen here? I think he's trying to avoid my bottles, which is really great because literally, like, you're just running into dead zones. Like, you're just running into... Oh, man. Did he just get off hook? I don't even fucking remember. I'm just chasing who I see. Yeah, like I said, these survivors, it's like they're scared to even get gens done. They're just mostly hiding. Oh man, my god, you just got hit with the Y-axis, Omega. Oh! He thought that was a yellow, by the way. Guaranteed. Guaranteed we actually got him mixed up there. Except he's actually really fucking good. Holy shit, his pathing. His pathing is demonic. He does go this one. I really like this Adam. Hot damn, dude. He's really got me thinking this early in the morning. Admittedly, maybe this is a situation where this add-on is tripping him up. So yeah, what I can do now, I do obviously want to reload. He wasn't the obsession, which is fine. Wasn't really a situation where I wanted to eat a pallet stun at that particular pallet. One of the nice things about Unforeseen, I'm gonna go ahead and kick this. I actually think I just saw someone slipping around, did I not? Let me kind of rotate this way. I am undetectable at the moment. Okay, no one I think is going that way. This is a pink bottle because of this add-on. I don't really feel like sulfuric acid vial's doing much, though. Remember, I'm undetectable, so if they don't see me, they don't know I'm here. I might hold off on this kick. Yeah, I'm gonna hold off on this kick. Should I? No, kick and rotate. No, we kick and rotate. I was going to hold off because I felt like I didn't see anybody on any of these gens. They were just letting them sit on the hook. Now we go ahead and kick. Maybe we find another gen with progress. Maybe do that in hell. Maybe on the way we just kick this pallet, am I right? I don't know why this pallet hasn't been kicked yet, but... Let's see, let's go check over here. I don't think they're... Oh my gosh. I'm gonna go for a little bit of... I don't expect him to play house. I'm completely wrong. He played house. Actually, rotate this way. Did he not have a window there? Yeah, I guess he didn't. He probably don't have windows is what that tells me. He was looking behind him and then he tried to look for a window that he thought was there, maybe? Again, we're not really getting anything from Furtive Chase in the way of haste, and it's because we just haven't had any pallets that kind of would conveniently allow us to transfer that obsession. However, we have just so many other ways of making ourselves undetectable. You know, the haste would be nice, especially on a map like this, but given that I feel like these survivors, they are just scared. I'm sorry, Adam. We gotta play the rest of the game out, you know? GG's, though. Y'all, he was so scared he camped a pallet. He was so scared he camped a pallet. That's funny. GG's, Gamer, though. He had really great chases. So where are they at? Probably gonna be back here. I think I just heard him, actually. Left side? Yeah. Oh, I see him. I mean, gang, I don't know where Cheryl is, am I right? Oh, like I genuinely don't. The game's kind of, they're just scared, they're hiding. Got a window right here. I almost thought for a minute that was gonna miss. She's on Deathlook too. Yeah, we just went crazy with that. This build, I feel like, exceeded my expectations. I know that these survivors were very... not so much like, in a lot of ways people might be thinking this team wasn't gen efficient. Again, keep in mind this is Haddonfield. Keep in mind that literally we have 3 to 4 different forms of applying undetectable. And I feel like after we got our first couple hooks, especially with how quickly we got them, these survivors just straight up started, they like started to panic. They didn't know where I was. I wouldn't be surprised if this isn't necessarily, there aren't too many people on comms, but they're not bad players. I will say that. That Adam was definitely in the top percentile of survivors I've gone against. You know, it's just the fact that I have so many hours. I had an understanding of his play style. Oh my gosh, I forgot a lot of this. It actually doesn't vault, I respect that. Can I? He's actually really good. That padding, hold on. He goes up the side here. Not bad, not bad. I mean, you do what you gotta do. Put a bottle right over, ooh. And she's got nothing else over here. Mrs. Spring Roll. GG's. Yeah, give me that. All right, well, that was quite the game. So I know a lot of people might see Haddonfield and they don't consider it to be a very good map for trying to be stealthy as Clown, but in hindsight, I actually think it worked out pretty well. See, Haddonfield is a small map, sure, it's got a lot of open space, you can like see the open streets, but a lot of the generators are also in houses. They are also, there's one in the bottom floor, right? Some are upstairs, and the line of sight there isn't very lenient. You can't really pre-run from Clown while also conveniently being positioned to go back and work on those generators, right? You jump off the top floor of the building, now you got to go all the way back up, run all the way up the staircase. It's not as simple as just running from one part of a field back to the other. And this makes it for a killer like Clown, who is very scary in Chase, you don't want to give him these free tags. It puts survivors in a tough position. Because either they make themselves vulnerable working on these generators, right? Or they do what a lot of these survivors did, which was stay away from the generators, hide in bushes, and be safe. You know, there was a period of time where a lot of generators just weren't popping simply because of the fact that the survivors weren't on them. They were scared. They were hiding from me. We got some really great early pressure. Our first 3 hooks on the non-obsessions came pretty quickly, and this meant that we had 3 playthings that were active. Even if we weren't hooking the obsession in order to get Furtive Chase, until they cleansed those playthings, it just didn't really matter in that sense. And further, we also had Unforeseen, which does transfer our terror radius to the generators even when they did cleanse those playthings as well as before. And yeah, that's why I started at one point to react about how I felt like, wow, this build has so many ways to remove my terror radius. And when you're going against survivors who aren't in voice comms, just simply not having a terror radius, even a map on Haddonfield, it is game changing. And honestly, when you even look at like the instances where it wouldn't matter as much, right? Like the streets, the generators that are like out in the middle of the open, if Clown is coming from a building that you didn't know he was at and you just don't happen to be looking at the, you don't turn your camera at the right time, you could end up still taking a health state out in the middle of the open simply because you just, by happenstance, weren't ready for it. You didn't have any type of audio cue telling you to prepare. You just didn't pan the camera at the right time, wrong focus, wrong moment. And that is, even on a map like this, for a killer like Clown, he's able to work with it. So this was the first match, and not really because I said it wasn't as tailored as much for stealth. I did want to get one more for you guys. Also, as an early spoiler, I do have a third match coming as a later date later this week, but I'll talk about that more near the end of the video. And I feel like if I just had better add-ons, I probably would have done better, but I digress because at least we still were able to do pretty great. Okay, Midwich, this actually is a pretty good map for this. Okay. Let's see what we can do. I don't have a feeling they're going to be, if they're not on this side of the map, they're going to probably be upstairs right up here, maybe? Forget, I have an add-on which swaps colors, my bad. I don't know why, but let's see. Probably rotated over here, maybe? That's the ambient sounds, I think, from the map itself. Very good free tag. I don't know, that's not really good to do. I have a feeling if she's gonna run like that, she's just gonna go straight forward, right? Is she actually? Yeah, okay. Well, we take what we can get, I guess. There we go. And this map especially being really good, given that it is vertical, it is indoor. She's not the obsession, but we do apply Plaything to her, which means that even if, right, we don't hook the obsession again, we don't have to worry about her hearing our terror radius. We could run into her, right? I feel like Furtive Chase isn't a heavy emphasis on this build. I think Nemesis is meant to kind of enable you to get some value out of it, right? When you can eat those stuns and then kind of snowball off of that. But beyond those situations that come when they do, it's more, I think, just like a support, right? I think you should mostly be looking to get fast chases, get your plaything spread. I wanted to make sure that we were the obsession, by the way. That is why I took the stun. Am I blind? I guess I am. Maybe I shouldn't have eaten that. Okay, definitely shouldn't have done that. But yeah, I should have downed her there. I just, for whatever reason, didn't notice she already was the obsession. He's gonna probably look to rotate this, right? Reload right here. I should have had the down by now, but it's okay. A little bit of misplays on my part. She wants to get this bottle, or this thing over here. I'm gonna actually rotate like this. I like the way she is playing this. She's got really good patience. We do need to hurry though. We can't dilly-dally anymore. Get this hook carrier to this corner. This will give us Furtive Chase. I expect us to hit 4 gens within the next 10 to 15 seconds. They've got to have at least some form of gen pressure that's been like consolidated. I don't believe they've had it fully spread. There we go. There's that 10 to 15 second gen I was talking about. Although admittedly, there's very little I can do. We'll kick this. I think they were just coming down here. We're gonna probably see scratch marks in a sec. Maybe. I'm gonna have to proxy this at this point. I'll go ahead and reload. One of the nice things about being undetectable, in addition to transferring our terror radius, is that we aren't shown by kindred. I'm gonna camp this out in a second. Oh, they're gonna actually get this unhook here, aren't they? What is this? What is this? Oh, she self-unhooks. No, someone came behind me. That's still good. Get this tag, pick her up. This is just great. And she actually removes her anti-tunnel. I'm just gonna pick this up. I'm just gonna get my hooks and worry about the obsession later, because we don't necessarily fully need to do that. This is really, really good recovery. I see her right there, and I know that she may want to get this trade. Wait, did I not just hear footsteps? That's not what I wanted. Okay, well, we know what everybody's doing. She might unhook herself at this rate. Which does kind of suck. Dude, these hook states are so long. Keep rotating. I'm gonna just take this here. Take this slug. Just take the fucking hook at this point. It's crazy, dude. All of the Basekit mechanics just make this shit so easy for survivors nowadays. We had so much pressure, y'all, but I can't proxy. I can't, because the problem is that she's gonna self-unhook. I don't have any feedback on that stuff. It's kind of wild that I basically had game-winning pressure, but these survivors just sadly, they do get almost a full reset. They get a complete reset, but like, full momentum swing, I should say, purely because of Basekit mechanics. I'll take that. I'm gonna go ahead and reload here. I'd like to get a gen kick if I can too. Does she have tenacity? They're cleansing the playthings. Yeah, that just gave them so much time to do so much of everything. Free unhooks, free heals, free cleanses, like crazy. However, we can maybe play off of this with our undetectable. I might want to hold. We'll throw it now, because I expect him to start running now anyways. I don't expect him to be at this tile. I do maybe expect someone to be on this totem. Hold on. Oh my gosh, dude, I almost didn't fucking... There we go. Okay, good to know. She's gonna have pallet, I think. I don't think we... You know, if I had Flask of Bleach or just like anything, I mean, maybe we get that, but instead I've got VHS Tape and Sulfuric, so I mean, sorry gang, we only got so much to work with there. Oh man. Oh hey, what's up? What's up, Fang? I guess she just doesn't have a terror radius still? They wouldn't have an angle for this even if they wanted, so that's good. I'll take that. At least I guess the totems have provided some slowdown, and we do get our first kill, which is what's really important as well. Getting Fang out of the match. Yeah, that is what? How many totem cleanses? That's a lot. That's at least 3. Ooh, and we get the heal interruption. So Sulfuric Acid Vial actually... Ooh. Works for me. That's all I needed. Should be able to play this Basekit. Kind of rotate a bit more. Hold on. 360. She shouldn't get this yellow. Oh my gosh, I got caught on the fucking bookshelf. It's fine though. GG's, good chase, good chase. Go ahead and reload here as well. Check upstairs just to make sure we don't get any shenanigans. Oh my gosh, it's so hard to get this angle pick up because like there's so many different ways. We'll get this though, that's good, that's good. Obsession, hook for the undetectable. Don't really get any info. One of the nice things about the combo with Friends to the End in Nemesis is that you know where to go, right? This you know where to go if you proxy return to hook, especially if survivors try to get a sneak. Especially if they don't, ooh. I mean, hey, I will say, definitely the build coming in handy right there. Holy shit, running right into us, gang, because we have no terror radius. All right. Wait, hold on. Where was she? Wait a minute, where'd she go there? She was literally just here. She's not in here, do you think? I was about to say, she didn't like do some type of... There we go. I was a little bit concerned because I thought they were actually going to salvage off of that, but we had just enough hook states early in. We got an early kill as well, because they kept running into us, gang. You notice that? They just didn't know our terror radius. It's a vertical map, which makes it easier for that to happen if you take the right pathing. That was good. It's GG's. It was so funny. She literally ran right into us while injured. Poke me. Give me a boop. Is she still here? I'll let her go. I'll let her go. I'll let her go. GG's. I love it when you beat him to hatch and you just stand on it, because it's like, what do you do as Survivor, right? That was funny. GG's, they played well. I was definitely concerned for a minute because Midwich, after the rework, they added some pretty strong pallets for survivors. They opened up that one doorway in the bathroom, right? It's not nearly as killer-sided as it used to be, genuinely. And they had some pretty decent chases. Best of luck to them. Fun game. So Midwich was definitely a much better map for this type of build and playstyle. And quite honestly, if it wasn't just for the overbearing and overloaded level of base kit mechanics that have been given to survivors over the last, like, what is it, year and a half now, then we probably would have beaten these survivors 3 to 4 minutes earlier than we actually did. We had almost everybody slugged on the ground because we were able to manipulate the fact we had 0 terror radius and we had survivors split between 2 different small lane chokes. But because of the fact that I had to leave the tile, I basically had to play, right? Like, I'm against my little sibling, I'm against a small child, and that I have to go easy on them, right? Because that is literally the only reason as to why killers in the past played this way that I basically had to do. It's now forced upon killer nowadays. So, I had to do that. That was why I focused on the Ada. That was why I abandoned the hooks and the slugs. I had no feedback on that. I didn't necessarily know if, as I'm trying to proxy the hook, she now unhooks herself and then they pick up the other person, other people out in the hallway. Like, I was almost basically in a lose-lose situation, which in a way it actually did kind of work out that way. Yeah, it was literally a lose-lose outcome regardless of how much pressure I had created there off of that hook because of the fact that Basekit, right? The developers said you're doing too well. Go easy on them. They're not ready for that. You know what I mean? It sucks, I guess, but we still won. We had a lot of hook pressure established thus far up to that point in the match. Even though the base kit mechanics were so overbearing, they were able to cleanse all of my playthings, get full heal resets and everything. It is, again, the fact that we just had those hook states locked in, there is no base kit mechanic to remove hook states yet, thankfully. So that is why we were able to come back from that. Had it happened at a point where I didn't have enough hook states, who knows? I probably would not have been able to come back, simply because having Fang shortly after on Death Hook, that set up my win condition. That enabled me to remove a survivor from the map, create a 1v3 situation, and thus when I hooked the next survivor, that was how I was able to run into Ripley. If you've got a survivor that's on the hook in a 1v3 situation, and then you down one of the only other 2 survivors that is going in for the save, now there's only 1 active survivor. You create a situation where if this survivor goes down, right, the one last remaining survivor, you win the game outright. So that was why we came back. We came back through hook states at that point, which, again, I mean, not to undermine and say that the build didn't play a part into that. The build especially played a part in downing the Ripley. So it did work out that way to the benefit of the build. Having different add-ons, though, I will say, would have helped a lot more. Cigar Box, I think, and Garsh Makeup Kit are the way to go for this build if you are actually looking to run good add-ons for that. Sulfuric Acid Vial and VHS, not only are they just so unconventional, but just the sheer opportunity cost of not taking those add-ons that I described, it hurts you so much. The potential in lacking that, right? Because, again, this is a stealthy build, but in order for you to kind of reach that spike where the stealth perks matter, you do got to have successful chases. And if you're not getting successful chases because of your add-on choice, that's a problem, right? That basically means that you're not playing with perks. This is something I talked about, especially when it came to generator perks. A lot of people had this presumption that if you just put 3 to 4 generator perks in your build, you'll do great. And in some senses that is true, but only insofar as you can get without needing anything to supplement your micro. Chase perks, coup de grace, save the best for last, Sanchin, brutal strength, even just as a general descriptor of the perks that I'm talking about. Because when you do run perks that require you to have successful chases and you don't have successful chases, even those generator perks, you are playing without perks. But I think that just about describes and wraps up everything else that could be said. I hope y'all really enjoy the gameplay from both of these matches. Again, I do have a 3rd match coming up later this week. The reason why y'all didn't see this one in this particular video is because I do think it was exceptional in its own right. Partially because of the build, but just also partially because of some micro gameplay. And, as an early also sneak peek, a survivor brought an RPD offering, and they were very proud of that for some reason. So we kind of had to put them in their place. I really don't want to say anything more because I'm just giving you all the good stuff so early, but I do recommend this build. If you are looking to try something stealthy, just take different add-ons, gang. I really can't emphasize enough. Y'all really punished me with this, but I stuck through it. That being said, though, I do want to leave at least one little disclaimer going forward and a reminder on participation. I am not doing any parade glove requests. If y'all do request parade gloves, I am not doing that. It messes with the bottle placements and the bottle combos and my muscle memory, and it creates a frustrating experience for me. So reminder going forward into that. Can't suggest that, but also it's simply participating is very simple. All you got to do is in your comment leave 4 perks that you want to see me run. If you get the most likes, I'll run your 4 perks, and the replies to your comments that get the most likes, I'll also run those 2 add-ons, assuming they include those 2 add-ons. But if y'all really are interested in learning how to play Clown better and you really like this video, I have a very detailed Clown guide. I'll be sure to link in the description. I also stream live on Twitch during the weekdays, usually Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, so I'll have a link to my stream in the description as well. And also, if you like this content and you'd like to see more, I'd really appreciate it if you'd like and subscribe. Not just for yourself, too, so you know when I post new videos, but also because it really helps me out a lot in the YouTube algorithm, and it makes it to where my videos get shown to more people. So one thing I like about doing this is being able to talk about the game and help more people with it, so I'd really appreciate that. But other than that, I hope y'all really enjoyed this video, and I'll see y'all next time. Later, gang.